Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests. I'm Sergeant Major Bob McDonald, and it is my honor and privilege to welcome each of you to today's ceremony in honor of Master Sergeant Antonio S. Giuliano, on the occasion of his retirement after more than 29 years of dedicated service to his country. The host for today's ceremony is Lieutenant General N.Y. West, the 44th Army Surgeon General and Commanding General, United States Army Medical Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Continental Color Guard of the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard, the singing of the national anthem by the United States Army Chorus, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Mark Worrell.
Forward, walk. Colors, halt. Colors, present, horse. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Colors, right shoulder, oh.
Please pray with me. Gracious God, we thank you so much today for this day. We thank you for the example you gave us of life. We thank you for the example that you gave of not to be served, but to serve. God, you also gave us an example of rest, the opportunity to take some time to recuperate and to plan for the future. God, we give you thanks in that light for the life of Master Sergeant Giuliano and for his service. God, we thank you for the ministry he's been to this country, to our Army, and to the world in many ways. We thank you for the grace he shows and for the balance he shows of bodily exercise and godliness. We also thank you, God, for his family, for Isabella, and those who are here with us today. While we gather today, God, we recognize that there are soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are deployed, and so we pray for peace. In the name of the Prince of Peace, amen.
Colors, colors turn, march.
Please be seated. We would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests, U.S. Representative Rod Blum, 1st Congressional District of Iowa, U.S. Representative Keith Rothfuss, 12th Congressional District of Pennsylvania. The Honorable William A. Chatfield, Director of Selective Service under President George W. Bush, and his guest, Dr. Linda C. Davis, Chief Veterans Experience Officer, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Master Sergeant Giuliano is joined today by his wife, Miss Isabella Giuliano, and dear friend, Mrs. Julie Sellinger of Darnestown, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host for today's ceremony, Lieutenant General N.Y. West.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll tell you, our distinguished guests, Representative Blum, so glad that you could be with us here today, Representative Rothfuss, and also our distinguished, all of our distinguished guests and our visitors and our families that are here. Really want to say thank you for taking the time to join us here today. And also fellow leaders and family friends of Master Sergeant G. His wife, Isabella, was mentioned. Thank you for also being here. And I tell you, it's not only a pleasure, but an absolute honor for me to be able to preside over this retirement ceremony of Master Sergeant Giuliano. And I mentioned to him earlier that it's his choice. You know, he can choose. When you retire, you choose who you have preside over the ceremony. And so out of all the people that he could have chosen, that he asked me to do it is, again, a really distinct honor. And I'll tell you what our connection is a little bit later in the ceremony, because as I talked to Master Sergeant Giuliano, it was really uncanny how much our paths are very similar in getting us to where we are today. And so it really, again, is an honor for me to be here. Chaplain, thank you so much for those words of inspiration. And it's always great to have our chaplains with us, like our musicians, our chaplains, the medical folks. We're usually kind of hang out together because we are all hopefully providing inspiration and hope to others. And so, again, thank you for those very, very inspiring words. And so, so those who know me well know that how I feel about our Army musicians. I tell you, it's one where all throughout my career, as I was mentioning to previously when we were talking with your leader here, from the first time I took to the field at West Point, when we were learning how to march, the Hellcats were out there keeping the drum beat, so we would learn how to march. And even before that, I was mentioning my dad was in the Army for 33 years, and so John Philip Sousa and band music, military march music, was actually in our house. Yes. Band, marching music in our house. That sounds kind of strange, but, coming from the family that I did, that was when my dad loved the military band music, and that's where my love for it started as well. And so the fact that connection that I have here, again, is really it's an honor for me to be here. One of the things that I would also like to say before I go on forward to the chorus, what an awesome rendition of the national anthem. I mean, I get goosebumps every time I hear a national anthem, but when it's sung in the manner in which you did, it was really very inspiring, very awesome. So please let's give a round of applause to the chorus for that. So as a medical person, I was going to say, if you were not moved by that, then I need to check your pulse, because it means you're not alive, because that's, again, a really, really great rendition. So I tell you, today's ceremony, of course, is honoring Master Sergeant Giuliano, but it's not just about him. It's also about his family and his friends. And we know, and we've heard it said before, that the strength of our nation is our Army, and that's comprised of our awesome soldiers. And we also know that their strength, both of our Army and our soldiers, is derived from the families that support us. And so, again, I want to recognize the family and friends of Sergeant Major. So please, or Master Sergeant, promoted you again. Please stand and let's give a round of applause to Isabella and his friend also. Friends are important too. So we know that there is no way that a soldier can achieve success and the longevity that Tony did without the support of his family and friends. And so thank you, Isabella, for your continued commitment and for being Tony's biggest fan and allowing all of us to share in his God-given talents. So Another part of his family, though they're not here today with us, Master Sergeant Giuliano's parents were really instrumental in forming him as the soldier that he is and that we are honoring today. His father was born in 1914 and served in the Army during World War II in France, in Germany, Northern Africa, and Italy. And his mom was born in 1918, and he talked about her serving as Rosie the Riveter in Toledo, Ohio, making tires for Army trucks. And they were childhood sweethearts from Sulligent, Alabama. And Master Sergeant Giuliano describes his father as the epitome of selfless service, and his mother as brilliant, talented, highly skilled. And he also called her the benevolent drill sergeant. So you know a little bit about the background and the discipline that he had in the home as well. But even more than their individual attributes, Tony believes that they were both heaven sent, a gift from God. And this is where his story strikes a very familiar chord with mine. You're kind of kindred spirits, as we would like to say. So Tony's parents, like my own, grew up during the Depression and blessed this earth with an overwhelming capacity to love children. So my parents adopted 12 children and were responsible for placing hundreds of others with loving families. And so I tell people I was an orphan, and I could have wandered off the face of this earth unknown and unloved were it not for my parents. And likewise, Tony's parents also opened their home to children in need. They were foster parents to 133 children in the state of Florida, and Tony is one of the 5 very fortunate ones that were adopted by the family. And just the love that he talked about, I mean, I got to be careful because I don't want to get too choked up here because it's not supposed to be sentimental. It's supposed to be a time of celebration. But when he told me about his parents picking up children and some that were left in a yard in nothing more than a diaper. You know, his parents could not pass by, and his mom especially could not pass by and not reach out, and heart not reach out and take that child who is one of Tony's brothers today. And so just that bond there, and the more we talked when we got to know each other more, it was just really, again, kind of goosebumps when you think about how our paths could have been so much different if one decision was made differently. And I told him his story was awesome and inspirational to me because as we both we're talking to each other, it's not where you start or how you start, it's where you finish and what you do with what you're given. And clearly Tony has done very much with what he was given, the love of his family and the wonderful talent that he had, the inspiration, the discipline, everything to get him to the point today. And so I think that tells you a little bit more about why it really is an honor for me to be here to celebrate into this. And so a little bit more about Tony here. He always wanted to serve in the military. You know, his goal was to become initially a Force Recon U.S. Marine or a police officer. And so, again, coming from a family steeped in tradition of service, not only did his father serve in World War II, but his older brother served in the Air Force during Vietnam. And his twin brother retired in 2002 as a Sergeant First Class in the Army. And so, again, all that tradition back in his service in his family. And I, too, of my 12 brothers and sisters, 10 of us served in the military at some point. 1 Air Force, also 1 Navy, but, you know, so no, my sister, retired Master Chief Petty Officer, and kind of a Marine. Her niece, or my niece, was a corpsman that served with the Marines. And so, again, another bond, you know, a lot of service within our family. But we're glad, and I'm sure you all are glad, that he did not serve or become a Marine, but actually a musician to provide his wonderful talent to all of us over all these years. And so back up a little bit. During high school, Tony was an athlete, but during his junior year, he decided to audition for the high school chorus. And near the end of his senior year, his chorus teacher told him not to waste his talent on the military because he had the voice to become an opera singer. Wow, you know, what a commentary on that. But, you know, he wasn't daunted by that. You know, he received his musical education from Pensacola State College and the College of Music at Loyola University in New Orleans. Here, another connection. My dad was from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so while attending Loyola University, he went to Nashville, Tennessee to attend and perform in the 1986 American Choral Directors Association. And it was there, after his choir had finished their performance, that he first saw the United States Army Chorus. He was so amazed at this all-male chorus of professional soldiers singing Schubert and other classical male choral literature that he whispered to his professor that he would love to do something like that. And so little did he know, 2 years later, long after he'd forgotten about that statement, his mentor reached out and informed him that the Army Chorus was looking for a tenor, and his professor had remembered the comment from 2 years earlier and recommended that Tony try out and go up for the audition. So that was back in 1988, and the rest is history, or at least nearly 30 years of it. So he never intended to stay for a career, but fell in love with being an American soldier and all that it stood for. Our nation, our Constitution, our flag, Old Glory, our Army, his unit, his parents, and all active military personnel and veterans, retirees, and all Army civilians, past and present, all that blended together to inspire him and continue him on his career and honor to the nation that he provided using his talents and his voice. His story is so compelling, and I'm really incredibly touched and inspired by the lifelong commitment that Tony and all the talented musicians in Pershing's Zone have made to our nation. The honor and the dignity and the reverence and just all of the solemnity and every other adjective you can think of that they bring to any ceremony or celebration that they're a part of. And that's the foundation of what it means to be an American soldier. And that's what I thought of. When you think of soldiers, when you think of marching, you think of the Army band. You think of the musicians. That's just part of who we are in our fabric. And that's why I use every opportunity I can to thank them for what they do, and to also tell whoever will listen that the intangible value that they provide, you can't put a dollar amount on what they provide. And they are actually, as we learn in our senior service colleges about the strategy and the instruments of power, well, they may not have, lethality as their primary weapon, but they certainly do have the soft instrument of power of breaking down barriers, right, of getting into places where others can't go. Soldiers with weapons may not be invited in, but soldiers with the musicians and the talent, with musical instruments and the talents that they have, can go places again that no other person can go. So just think of that value added to our nation and what they are in the armamentarium of our national security strategy and our national security authority or command authority can use, again, to break down doors, break down barriers. And so, to me, it's really concerning that the Army bands are looked at as maybe something to gain efficiencies in reducing. So you've got a advocate here on what you add and the importance of maintaining our musicians within our ranks. So I'll just say that. So, And so back to Tony here again. What an amazing career that he has had. He's appeared in opera, concerts, recitals all throughout the United States and Europe. As a member of the U.S. Army Corps since 1988, he has represented his country as a soloist, performing for heads of states, kings, queens, and presidents worldwide. He has had the honor and privilege of serving as the featured soloist for President Ronald Reagan's internment ceremony in Simi Valley, singing an a cappella rendition of Amazing Grace, which was President Reagan's favorite hymn. In addition to his musical talent, Tony also mentions that he's a accomplished, competitive, drug-free bodybuilder. And so that's actually awesome to be able to do that. And again, another area that he demonstrates his strive for excellence and gaining the top of his basic top performance in every area that he goes after. And so I tell you, it's again been an extreme honor to get to know him. I didn't know him for a very long time, but when I did hear about his story, hear about his contributions, it just reminds me that every single person that we pass, on our daily duties and our tasks. You don't know who you're passing in the hallway sometime. Every single human being is unique, precious, and unrepeatable. And sometimes if you don't stop to get to know them a little bit better, just think of what you miss out on. So if I hadn't had the time, and Tony said that passing him once, and we did a selfie, and so you know me and selfies, I love to do selfies. But he said, if you hadn't reached out, I probably wouldn't have felt you were approachable enough for me to ask you or talk to you. And just think of the wonderful story and the wonderful human being I would have missed out on had I not made that connection with Tony. And so I'll also take the point to say, always remember, when you pass by someone, it might be someone with an outstanding story, so take the time to learn it. And you just might be surprised and in for a really great treat. I can tell you that I was. And so in closing, I would like to say that I know that the future remains extremely bright here for Tony and Isabella. And upon turning the page in this book, or turning this page in this chapter of your book, I know you've got wonderful chapters yet to write. And we talked about the horse country back down in Louisiana that you're going to retreat to in between times. I'm sure, hopefully, still gracing the world with your phenomenal voice. And I look forward to hearing about what you're going to be doing in the future. And hopefully one time I'll turn on the TV or radio, maybe see you there, and remember these great times. And hopefully you look back fondly on your time with your Army family and not forget us. So again, Tony, thank you so much for your service. Isabella as well, because it's a family effort. Thank you so much for your service, your commitment, your dedication, and all the positive impact that you've had on those that have come in contact with you. And so your impressive career combined with your exceptional character, your competency, your commitment, I know it's going to undoubtedly lead to more success in the future. So again, continue on with your great story, and God bless you. And thank you all for your kind attendance. Thanks so much.
Attention to orders. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal to Master Sergeant Antonio S. Giuliano, the United States Army Band Pershing's Own, for exceptionally meritorious service while serving as section leader for the United States Army Chorus, tenor vocalist, and soloist for the United States Army Band Pershing's Own. Master Sergeant Giuliano performed in concerts across the nation and in live broadcasts for millions. He sang with distinction before the President and Vice President of the United States Supreme Court, the State Department, the United States Congress, visiting dignitaries such as Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Benedict XVI, and in many different languages for international military leaders. Master Sergeant Giuliano was frequently requested to sing the national anthem for general officer promotions and retirements. His career totals more than 3,000 musical missions, 26 solo recitals, and 113 honor flights for veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Master Sergeant Giuliano embraced his leadership, mentoring, and training roles with tenacity and excellence. This award recognizes 29 years of dedicated military service by Master Sergeant Giuliano and reflects great credit on him, the United States Army Band, and the United States Army. Signed, Michael L. Howard, Major General, U.S. Army, Commanding. Please be seated. Lieutenant General West will now present Master Sergeant Giuliano with the following honors. A certificate of appreciation from Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history, with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. I trust that in the coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief. A letter of appreciation from United States Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa in recognition of Master Sergeant Giuliano's dedication to the United States Army and for his commitment to protecting the citizens of the United States of America. A letter of appreciation from U.S. Representative Louis Gohmert, 1st Congressional District, Texas. A letter of appreciation from Maryland State Senator Robert Cassilly. A letter of appreciation from General James McConville, Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. A letter of appreciation from General Joseph Votel, Commander, U.S. Central Command, which reads, Antonio, congratulations on the occasion of your retirement and the conclusion of a long and distinguished career of dedicated service to the United States Army, the Department of Defense, and our great nation. Over the 29-plus years of uniformed service, you have led our nation's warfighters with honor and distinction. I commend your extraordinary career and thank you for the tremendous contributions and sacrifices that you and your family have made in the defense of our great nation. I regret that I will not be able to attend your retirement ceremony, but please know that Michelle and I wish you and your family nothing but the best as you transition to the next chapter of your lives. This truly is a momentous occasion, and on behalf of the men and women of the United States Central Command, I wish you much happiness in the years to come. Sincerely, Joseph L. Votel, General, U.S. Army. A letter of appreciation from Rear Admiral Charles W. Rock, Commandant, Naval District, Washington.
That's okay, we're still going to beat them, right? Go Army, right?
A letter of appreciation from Command Sergeant Major William Thetford, Command Senior Enlisted Advisor, U.S. Central Command. A letter of appreciation from Sergeant Major Brian B. Battaglia, U.S. Marine Corps retired, Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which reads, Tony, as you depart active duty service in the United States Army, the impact that you have made to so many of us will surely carry on. From the soldiers you have led, to our veterans and their families, from our wounded of all eras of service to the American public and national leadership, you have positively and patriotically touched countless lives. While a fellow compatriot will institutionally replace you in Pershing's own rank and file, your unique voice and dynamic presence is irreplaceable. You are a remarkable American and soldier who carries absolute honor, impeccable military bearing, and a moral high ground for us all to reach. Coupled with your spiritual harmony, these day-to-day qualities that you live by is most certainly a testimony to your continued success. Lisa and I will always cherish the numerous SEAC-hosted events where you flawlessly performed our national anthem and other solo performances. We are truly honored to have been a part of your remarkable career and proud to call you a brother and comrade in arms. Our sole regret is that we did not cross paths earlier in life. Congratulations on your extraordinary military service, and from the bottom of my eagle, globe, and anchor, Semper Fidelis. Signed, Brian B. Battaglia, Sergeant Major, U.S. Marine Corps, retired.
Hoorah!
A letter of appreciation from Sergeant Major of the Army, retired Kenneth O. Preston, Vice President, NCO and Soldier Programs, Association of the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, the following awards will now be presented to Master Sergeant Giuliano. The Unit Elements photo presented by Colonel Andrew Esch.
Antonio, I've known you for a long time, and I have to say that no one has more passion for this organization or its mission than you. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Band is here for one purpose, and that's to build relationships on behalf of the United States Army and the nation. And judging from this gathering, you have done that tremendously well. Over the last 29 years, you have made some tremendous contributions that extend across the entire organization. And so I'd like to present you with the unit photo collage as a small token of our genuine esteem. And I'd like to personally thank you for everything that you have done on behalf of Pershing's Own. You will be genuinely missed.
The NCO Retirement Plaque, presented by Sergeant Major Craig Lauinger. The United States Army Chorus photo, presented by Sergeant Major Andrew Patterson.
Tony, why do I have this uneasy feeling that we're no longer the new guys in the unit? I've known Tony for 28 years now. Stood next to him for all those years in the first tenor section, which is the best section in the chorus. It's the highest, right? So
That's right.
I was thinking this morning, of all the solos, the chorus work Tony's done, he's known for opera all over the country, all over the world. The one song that I recall him singing when I first got here was Be All That You Can Be. Never forgot it. I still put that at the top of my list of all the solos he's sung. And I believe you've lived that, those 29 years here, and I also believe that you've inspired others to do the same. So, congratulations. It's my honor to be able to present you this photo of the chorus, and there's a lot of alums here in the chorus. I'd like to also have them sign this also afterward. Please. So don't pack it up and put it in your car just yet. So I'd like to read it to you, to Master Sergeant Antonio Giuliano. Hopefully I can read it. from your brothers in the U.S. Army Chorus in recognition of our 29 years of distinguished service as a member of the United States Army and Pershing Zone. Congratulations.
Thank you, Sergeant Major.
Representing the first tenor section of the U.S. Army Chorus, a gift presented by Master Sergeant Patrick Sobolik.
Yeah, I brought a door. Master Sergeant Tony Giuliano, General West, TUSAB, distinguished guests, Representative Bloom, being an Iowan myself, thank you so much for coming. 3 words that I associate with Master Sergeant Giuliano is duty, dedication, and devotion. Duty, dedication, and devotion to his God, to his wonderful wife of 21 years, Isabella, and 29 years of dedicated service to the United States Army. And in recognition of that, he's had his eye on this for quite a while. So the Army Chorus, on behalf of the Army Chorus, I'd like to present this wonderful flag to him. I know you'll find a place for this in your place, down in Louisiana.
A United States flag that has been flown over the World War II Memorial is presented by Lieutenant Colonel retired James Fisher, Executive Director of the Korean War Memorial Association and Director of Ceremonies of the World War II Memorial in honor of Master Sergeant Giuliano on the occasion of his retirement.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. I just want to say, put a plug out for the band. Without our United States Army Band, Pershing Zone, and the chorus, our ceremonies would be nothing more than just a ceremony. Music adds a lot to these World War II veterans coming and these Korean War veterans, and that's where I want to thank Master Sergeant Giuliano. He did over, I don't know how many honor flights for these World War II veterans and Korean War veterans at their memorial. So I think no other way to thank him is to have a flag that was flown over ceremonies for both the World War II Memorial at an honor flight and at the Korean War Veterans Memorial for his dedication. You've changed many hearts and you are a blessing to many. I'd like to thank him and present him the certificate also.
The Honorable William A. Chatfield will present Master Sergeant Giuliano with a shadow box with a flag that was flown over the United States Capitol. This shadow box also contains Master Sergeant Giuliano's ceremonial dress blue uniform blouse, unit patches, rank awards, 2 photos, and U.S. SOCOM coins from General Votel and CSM Thetford.
Antonio, what's there left to say about you? You're an amazing person. General West readily admitted that the Army stole Antonio from the Marine Corps. So there's never been a conversation that we've had over the last 15 years or so where Tony hasn't said, Army strong, hooah. But every once in a while, guys and gals, we would end with a hooah. Okay, so he still has that Marine Corps in him. And one of the finest soloists in America and part of the chorus in the world. and also just a fine soldier through and through, but the most giving, caring, unselfish, humble person, Isabella, that one of whom I've never met. As was mentioned, I have a dear friend here, Dr. Linda Davis, for many years a colleague, and she and I have some stories that we've seen Antonio give, and from his heart. He's a very, very special man. So on behalf of our Marine Corps and everyone here, congratulations.
Lieutenant General West will now present Mrs. Isabella Giuliano with a special recognition. Mrs. Giuliano, please join your husband and General West on stage. Lieutenant General West will now present Mrs. Isabella Giuliano with the Army Spouse Certificate of Appreciation. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Mrs. Isabella R. Giuliano, on the occasion of the retirement of your spouse from the United States Army, has earned grateful appreciation for your own unselfish, faithful, and devoted service. Your unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your spouse's lasting contribution to the nation. Signed, Mark A. Milley, General, United States Army Chief of Staff. Mrs. Giuliano will now receive the Spouse Certificate of Appreciation, signed by Lieutenant General N.Y. West. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the reading of the retirement certificate. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Master Sergeant Antonio S. Giuliano, having served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the United States Army on the 30th day of November, 2017. Signed, Mark A. Milley, General, United States Army Chief of Staff. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Army's newest retiree, Master Sergeant Retired, Antonio S. Giuliano.
Wow. Thank you all. First of all, I'd like to thank Lieutenant General West for being here, ma'am, and for your just awe-inspiring words to my heart. I lost it over there for a moment, and I had to recapture my composure. I'm 5'7" today, so I have to adjust the mic. Also, I'd like to thank Representative Blum for being here, representing Iowa, and Representative Rothfuss from the Pittsburgh area for being here, the Honorable William Chatfield, Dr. Linda Davis, Mr. Fiore, retired Colonel, U.S. Army, SES, who, your wife, your beautiful wife, Master Sergeant, U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force, retired, Mr. Wilkins, Rob Wilkins, thank you. Rolling Thunder, Lieutenant Colonel, thank you for being here. All distinguished guests, Colonel retired, former commander of the TOG, the Old Guard, Colonel Sniffen, thank you for being here. Jeff Jacobs, good to see your face, my old neighbor. All distinguished guests, thank you. My commander, Colonel Esch, my deputy commander, Lieutenant Colonel Shaw, my CSM, Dan Smith, couldn't be here. He's with his family. Families first. Who? We spoke the other day. My OIC, Major Pena, thank you, sir, for your support. Sergeant Major Lauinger, thank you for your friendship and support today, your friendship throughout my career. And Chaplain Captain Mark Worrell, beautiful words in the invocation. We've known each other for some time now. When you were the 1-3 chaplain, the Old Guard. Thanks for being here for me, sir. All distinguished guests, and Major General retired, our former commanding general, General Rowe, Richard Rowe. Thank you, sir. It's good to see your face. I've never retired before, so I do have some notes here. Give a shout out to my boys, United States Army Chorus, the greatest male chorus on the planet. Who? Colonel retired, United States Air Force pilot. Look at that beautiful face over there. And his beautiful wife. Thank you for being here, Mr. and Mrs. Graves. I am utterly indebted to my commander-in-chief and senior drill sergeant of the universe, the Lord Jesus Christ. He is because of his sovereignty and his love and grace bestowed on me, I don't deserve. I'm here today. Everything I am today and all that I have, all that I've accomplished, achievements, what have you, is because of God and his grace. So I give him the glory for everything. When I sing the anthem, when I sing Dog-Faced Soldier or the Army Song or Amazing Grace or Are You Wrong, it doesn't matter what I'm singing. I'm representing him, number one, first and foremost. Secondly, I'm representing our great nation and our great army. So I am grateful to God that I can be a green suitor and wear this, and to be a member of the greatest band, not just military band, but the greatest band on the planet, Pershing's own. So I am very grateful for that. I don't want to take up a lot of time because the general has a schedule here to keep, and I don't want to keep you seated forever. But I would like to just take this moment to just say how important our job is. What I've learned over my time being a part of the Army, being a soldier musician in Pershing's own, being a first tenor in the Army chorus. I've learned a lot. I've learned what right looks like, and I've also learned the opposite. And I had to, I learned from Sergeant Major retired Michael Malovic. I want to thank him for his mentorship over the years. I think his wife is here. Pinky, do I see Mrs. Malovic? A shout out to Sergeant Major Malovic. He's ill and recovering, so keep him in your prayers. He taught me a lot. He taught me what right looks like. Sergeant Major Leon Welch, and all the TUSAC alumni here. Thank you. I've learned the 3 H's and the 3 D's. The 3 H's are HUA, high speed, and humility. And General West, you encompass those 3 H's, ma'am. And a lot of other soldiers that I've met over the years. HUA, high speed, and humility. HUA and high speed, without humility, it's nothing. Just clanging cymbals, just noise. And the 3 D's I learned from Lieutenant Colonel, he was a POW. His name escapes me, I apologize. I think it was Lieutenant Colonel Tuskegee Airman at the awards dinner the other night. And Alexander Jefferson, what a fine American. He was captured by the Nazis, but he said The 3 Ds, they are determination, direction, and he qualified that by saying the right direction. And then he said discipline. That's what got him through being captured and being a POW. And those things I've learned, not only just hearing him say them, but from my experience being a soldier in this wonderful unit in our great Army. It's not how you start, it's how you complete the mission. It's how you finish. There's one moment that resonates in my heart till this day. I'll never forget. And it showed me the importance of our mission here in Pershing Zone of being musical ambassadors. 2005, I received a phone call from a friend, a Vietnam War pilot, helicopter pilot, and he said, we're burying a great American soldier today. And I want to know if your time permits, could you sing his 2 favorite songs? And I looked at my schedule. I said, I believe so, if it doesn't conflict with Army chorus rehearsal, or I'll take leave. To make a long story short, it was for Paul Syverson, Major Paul Syverson from 5th Special Forces Group. It was held over here at the Post Chapel. His 2 favorite songs were Amazing Grace and Danny Boy. He graduated #1 in his class at VMI. He was a football player, a violinist, sang in the Glee Club. And when he graduated, he went SF, became a Green Beret. He was injured so badly in Iraq that they were not expecting him to recover. He recovered, healed up, and said, I want to go back to my team. So they sent him back. Now he's in Afghanistan. He's walking out of, in the green zone, he's walking out of I think the post exchange. And they were shelled by enemy fire. He, along with an airman and another military personnel, were killed in action. I ended up singing Amazing Grace and Danny Boy for his funeral. His wife, Mrs. Syverson, sat on the first pew with her 2-month-old newborn daughter and 3-year-old Paul Jr. It was a moving experience. As I was singing Amazing Grace, I almost lost it looking at the children and the mother holding her newborn baby. When they opened the door to bring the casket in, draped in Old Glory, the United States Army Ceremonial Band proceeded to play my favorite hymn, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. I've never heard anything so beautiful. And at that moment, it hit me how important what we do in TUSAB is. The impact that we make in the lives of individuals on a daily basis will never be erased from their mind or their heart or their soul. So I thank God that I'm a part of this great unit and that I could contribute in the small way that I do, whether it's singing our fight song, as General Austin told me. He says, that's our fight song, the Star-Spangled Banner. I said, Roger that, sir. Or singing any other song, happy, sad, doesn't matter what the song is. We're making an impact in the life of another human being created in the image of God. So just remember that. What we do is not routine. I know it's difficult not to think that because I've been there. But we have to do a gut check. And that's what I have to do all the time. Oh, it's another this or another that. No, it's no. Oh, this is another great opportunity. God, thank you that I can go and honor the veterans at the memorial. Thank God that the chorus can go and honor a Medal of Honor recipient. Or singing at a retirement community. It doesn't matter. What we do matters. Music is so powerful. I remember a story. Mrs. Shinseki said, You boys don't realize how difficult it is sometimes. The general and his counterpart, they're here and they are at odds with one another. And you come into our home and you sing in their language. And you bring tears to their eyes. And you break down barriers and make it possible for us to achieve some sort of reasoning on the table. That's how powerful the Army Corps, our mission is. You guys are great. I'm just blessed and honored to be a part of you. The Army goes rolling along. I'm retiring. You guys are going to retire someday. So I would just say to you, thank you for your friendship, persevering through the ups and downs that we've all had. Take it seriously. I know you do. But just do a gut check. That would be my, I know you didn't ask for my advice. But I would like to share it with you from the bottom of my heart, just to continue to do a gut check and say, hey, this is about me in the sense of the role and awesome responsibility I've been given, which is a privilege and an honor to wear the uniform no matter what the MOS is. But for you, at the level that you represent the Army at the highest level, what we do, anyone in Pershing Zone, whether it's support or performers, instrumentalists or vocalists, it's amazing. Do a gut check every day. Sometimes we have to do it throughout the day, depending on the circumstances surrounding us that we have no control over. But we do have control over how we're going to respond. And that's selfless service. The last thing I'll say is this. The Army values mean a lot to me. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They cannot stand without the most important one, in my opinion, which is integrity. And I've defined integrity this way. Integrity, it's not doing the right thing when no one's watching. Everybody can do that, but we don't know their motivation, their agenda. Integrity, true integrity, is doing the right thing for the right reason and doing it the right way when no one's watching. That is difficult at times. Many times it's difficult because sometimes I don't want to do the right thing the right way, depending on the circumstances that I'm dealing with. But I have to do a gut check and say, it's not about me. It's not all about me. So integrity is the hinge upon which the door of the Army value swings. When you have true integrity, then you can have true loyalty and duty and respect for every human being, no matter what their role, their rank, doesn't matter. If they're wearing stars on their shoulders or a star in the middle of the chevron, or if they're E nothing, they are a human being. So that's what I've learned from great mentors, Sergeant Major Dwayne Blackman, if he's here. And there you are, Sergeant Major, thank you. He was the 4th Battalion Command Sergeant Major of the Old Guard. And I've had his ear, and he's a wonderful brother in Christ and a brother in arms. Sergeant Major retired Williams, Marshall Williams, the senior enlisted advisor to the Honorable William Cohen, Secretary of Defense. Thank you, Sergeant Major, for your mentorship. If I didn't mention your name, I apologize. Like I said, I've never done this before. God bless you all. God bless our great nation, our great Army. And most importantly, God bless all of our men and women who wear the uniform in our U.S. Armed Forces. Now I would like to ask the Army Chorus to step on stage. The men of the Army Chorus will bless your hearts by singing 2 songs that I've asked them to sing to honor General West for her service to our nation and for being here today. The first selection is a song that we've sung for many years, and every time I hear it, every time I'm standing in the ranks with those men and we sing it, the words just resonate more and more, saturate my heart and mind. It's called American Soldier. And I've asked a former member of the Army Chorus, now he is NCOIC for Army Voices. Master Sergeant Colin Eaton will be the soloist on American Soldier, and following that will be our signature song, the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Ma'am, these songs are for you. After that, I'm sure Sergeant Major McDonald will tell everyone we're ending with the Army song. But I like to say this. I've been singing the Army song and the anthem at the Pentagon for many years. And when I started doing it, really quick, sir, when I started doing it at the old Walter Reed, when our troops start coming back, the first wounded soldiers start returning, we end the program with the Army song. And the Army goes rolling along, and all the soldiers in the audience like look around and they're like, is that it? Is it over? So I said, it needs a stinger on it. So I started putting a stinger on it. And they immediately exclaimed, "Hoo!" So at the end of the Army song, I said, "Army strong, hoo!" And they immediately, "Hoo!" So I was at the Pentagon. General Casey was our chief of staff, and the entire senior Army staff were on stage for a huge ceremony. I said, I'm going to try it here. Guess what happened? They went nuts. Hoo! So I'm in the hallway at the reception, and someone lightly taps me on my shoulder, and I didn't see them at first, and he said, "Army strong, who?" It was General Casey. So I said, if it's good enough for the Chief of Staff of the Army, it's good enough to keep. So at the end of the Army song, I will yell, "Army strong, who?" Please give me that before I retire. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Chorus.
I'm just trying to be a father, raise a daughter and a son, be a lover to their mother, everything to everyone, up and at 'em bright and early. I'm all business in my suit. Hey, I'm dressed up for success, from my head down to my boots. I don't do it for the money, there are bills that I can't pay. I don't do it for the glory, I just do it anyway. Providing for our future, my responsibility. Hey, I'm real good under pressure, being all that I can be. And I can't call in sick on Monday when the weekend's been too strong. I just work straight through the holiday, sometimes all night long. And you can bet that I'll stand ready when the wolf growls at the door. Hey, I'm solid, hey, I'm steady, hey, I'm true down to the core. And I will always do my duty, no matter what the price. I've counted up the cost, I know the sacrifice. Oh, and I don't want to die for you, but if dying's after me, well, I'll bear that cross with honor, 'cause freedom don't come free. I'm an American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I will always do what's right. I'm out here on the front line, singing peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I will always do what's right. I'm out here on the front line, sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American soldier, an American soldier. I'm an American soldier.
Please be seated. Tony will now present his wife, Isabella, with flowers.
The most important part. To my beautiful bride, Isabella Saragusa Giuliano. Thank you, dear. I love you. You are Army strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. The men and women of the Department of Defense and the United States Army are proud of Master Sergeant retired Giuliano and wish every success to him and his family as they take on new challenges. Thank you for attending today's ceremony. Following the benediction by Chaplain Worrell, please remain standing for the singing of the Army song led by the Army Chorus. The Army song is printed on the program so that you are able to follow along. And at the conclusion of the Army song and the departure of the official party, please come forward to offer your personal congratulations to Master Sergeant retired Giuliano and his family in the receiving line. You are also invited to stay and attend the reception immediately following the receiving line here in the day room. Thank you again for attending and have a great day.
Please pray with me. God of all peace, you tell us that you'll go behind and before us as we move on through our days and through our lives. We thank you for this ceremony today. We thank you for your grace in our lives of giving us the opportunity to serve with Tony and Bella in our Army. God, please guide and direct their steps in the days to come. Give them strength and help them to live for you. In your holy and righteous name we pray. Amen.